Okay, so let's talk about the absolute value now. I have 3 minus 12, and I want to take the absolute value. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract 12 from 3. And to do that, I change it to an addition problem. And by the way, what you do not want to do, you can't just say, oh, this isn't the absolute value, so I make a minus a plus and put a plus there. That does not work. The last thing you do when you're all done, if there's one negative, you get rid of it. But that's the last. You wait till the end to do that. So here I have 3 plus negative 12. Different signs, find their difference, and keep the sign of the bigger one. And now at the last step, I get 9. Okay? See, if I would have, combined them, if I would have made that a plus right away, I would get a different answer, and it would be a wrong answer. So you only get rid of negatives at the very end once everything else is done, if there are any left. Alright, so now I have negative 4 plus 6. Negative 4 plus 6 is going to give me a 2. And the absolute value of 2 is just 2. Okay, the next one, just to make sure we're clear about what we're seeing here, I have an absolute value on the outside. And I have a smaller one, I have a smaller one on the inside, okay? So there's a smaller one on the inside there. So I start on the inside and work my way out. And by the way, I cannot do boom boom here because the boom boom that I did before only works with parentheses, okay? So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to jump to the innermost absolute value, and where I have a negative 3, I'm just going to make it 3. So I have negative 8 minus 3. This absolute value is gone because this negative came down, this negative went away. And then I change this to addition, so I get negative 8 plus negative 3, which gives me negative 11. Whoa! Negative 11, and the absolute value of negative 11 is just 11. Okay? And then one more here. I have 2 little absolute values on the inside, so I can just get rid of those absolute values. I can get rid of those negatives right away. And now I'm left with 2 minus 5, because this negative wasn't in the little absolute value, so it's still there. Okay, 2 minus 5, when you do the work that we did before, you end up determining that that is negative 3. So I skipped a step there. And then absolute value of negative 3 is 3. Okay? And then the last thing we want to do, we want to evaluate expressions given numbers. So basically, if you plug things in and leave a space, which you have parentheses to take care of that space, then you won't have any problems. So here I put a 5. And here I put, for z, I put a negative 4. And I just use order of operations, and now I use the things that I know about signs as well. So boom, boom. And I end up with 10 plus 4, which is 14. And then the second one, I have negative 3, and I just leave parentheses, big old spaces, where I had numbers. And I'm going to plug in a 5 for the x, and a negative 2 for the y. And I'm going to plug in a negative 4 for the z. Okay, and then 3 times 5 is 15, and there was a negative out in front. Now what I'm going to do here, we're actually going to talk about multiplying and dividing negatives today, but I'm just going to tell you for now that 2 times negative 2 gives you negative 4. Alright? So the 2 times the negative 2 gives me negative 4. And then this I go boom, boom, I get 4. And then boom, boom here. So negative 15 plus 4. Okay, and you find the difference. Keep the sign of the bigger. You get negative 11 plus 4. Find the difference and keep the sign of the bigger. You end up with negative 7. Okay, and then the last problem here, I get negative and then negative 2, and then plus an x squared, but instead of x I put parentheses. Boom, boom, I get 2 here plus and then here I get 25, and that gives me 27. Okay? So I just got a message, and that is good timing because we're at the end. So hopefully you are now able to add and subtract, and there you go. And I'll talk to you again soon.